Hey, what's going on, Scatterbrains? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Brilliancy. My name is Travis, and I'm here to do a story time with a lesson. I'm gonna tell y'all about something that I just recently went through, but I think there's a lesson in it. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Many of you may know that in 2017, I did my first children's book, The Color with Kids, recorded a video about it, posted the video. Video has been seen a decent amount of times. So I often get emails from people asking me for either advice about publishing and self-publishing related stuff, or to see about me being their illustrator. I feel like the camera's a little crooked, so I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna tell you a story about a client from you know where that I just finished dealing with, because I gotta tell you about how crazy this was. To me, it was crazy. I'm not going to say her real name. I'm not going to say the name of the book or anything like that. I am going to, keep the identity protected because that's just a respectful thing to do. But I think that there is a legit lesson in the story. Why is that flashing like that? I have to look into that. So I get an email from this lady. We'll call her Sally. I get an email from Sally asking me if we can talk about possibly illustrating a book for her. And usually what I do is I'll set up a Zoom call or I'll set up a phone call just so we can talk. We can talk about what your book is about, what your vision is, talk about your budget. I've learned so much from being an illustrator. I'm now a freelance illustrator officially, but I've learned so much throughout this process, and it all just happened by, happenstance, I guess is what they call it. Because, this was never anything that I had a vision for or a desire to be like an illustrator. That was not anything I wanted to do. I just had a vision one day to do a book for myself. And that has just spawned into all these other projects, which has really just blessed my life in so many ways. I talked to Sally on the phone. And by the time I've talked to Sally, I'm a lot more secure in my business practices. I'm a lot more secure in my wealth of knowledge when it comes to the services that I'm offering, how to go about it, how I'm doing contracts, all of that stuff. I have it in order by the time me and Sally actually talk. Now, the first couple people that I did my books for, I was just finding my way. But by the time Sally came around, I know what I'm doing. In knowing what I'm doing, and I've spoke about this in another video, I'm fully aware of the value of my time by the time I speak to Sally, okay? So we talk about her book and what it's about. Okay, cool. A lot of the books people send me, I don't really understand them, but they're special to that person, so that's fine. But no matter whether I understand the book, don't understand the book, all of that, my value, what I'm charging, that doesn't change. And y'all have to excuse me, I'm still getting over my summer cold, so if you hear the nasal situation going on, it is what it is. I did the little nasal saline flush earlier. It was real traumatic, but we pushing through. So Sally gets my prices, and at that time my prices were lower than they are now. Sally got my prices, and I almost protect the innocent. Sally was like, "Oh no, Travis, oh my gosh, these prices. Do people actually pay people actually pay you this?" She was darn near offended about the prices that I was charging, and this is not even me giving you a price for your book. These are just my price sheet. I have a price sheet that tells you how much a spread illustration is, how much a full page illustration, yada yada yada, and it's a range because depending on what I'm illustrating changes the value of the cost, rather, of what you're getting. It costs a lot more money for me to draw a human being than it does a circle with a face on it. Okay, that I feel like should be something that everybody should be able to understand, that there should be a range. Nobody, for me, and speaking to other artists, I would never say, oh, to illustrate one page of your book, it's going to be a flat rate of X amount of dollars. No. Because different things require different amounts of effort and talent and time, which is what it all boils down to. So she was so offended by my prices. She was like, "Travis, do people pay these prices? Oh my gosh, this is so much." And I was like, yes, people pay these prices. And if you're not happy with it, that is fine. There are many other illustrators out there. And that's the thing I don't understand is people come to me and this makes people not want to work with me, may make people want to work with me, I don't know. But it trips me out when people come to me for a service. You get my prices for the service you're inquiring about, and you somehow feel like my prices are wrong. Now, granted, you may think that my level of artistry is not worth that price, and that is perfectly fine. But there are people who believe that it is worth it, and then there are people who still think I'm charging less than what I should be, okay? So beauty is an eye of the beholder. Art is subjective, okay? But she was like, oh my, you know about my prices, but can you please still give me an invoice? Like, do a draw up of how much it would cost for you to do this book of mine. Sure, no problem. So I do an invoice of what she needed. I think she needed like 19 illustrations for her book, and I send her invoice. And she's like, oh no, this is, whoa, like, how did you come up with this number? I'm like, I'm thinking, how do you not know how I came up with the number? You have the price sheet that says, for a full page illustration, it costs between this number and this number. You have this number of full page illustrations. So that means you take that number times my height at the highest level of the range, and then at the lowest level of the range, and you know that your range will be in between there. You know, okay, so for math, let's say it costs $10 for me to do a full page illustration. Let's say I charge between $10 and $20 to do a full page illustration, okay? So the easiest thing in the world for me to draw for a full page is $10. The most difficult thing is $20. You have 5 pages that you need illustrated, which means your lowest amount would be 5 pages times $10, which would be $50. And your highest would be 5 pages times 20, which would be 100. So you should know that the range for me to illustrate a full page for you is going to be between $50 and $100. Okay, that should make sense to everybody. But no, not for Sally. Sally was just so flabbergasted about how I came up with this number, and she was like, oh, you know what, never mind. Actually, Travis, I just found an illustrator who is going to do my whole book for $1,000. Clearly my quote was higher than $1,000 because I think I just said she had like 19 pictures. And great. When I don't feel like anybody is obligated to tell me, you know what, never mind, Travis, I don't want to work with you. Nobody is obligated to do that. If you choose to do that, that's fine. I mean, I guess it might be like a good business practice, but I'm not ever waiting around for somebody to tell me whether they want to work with me or not, because I don't hold my breath for anybody. I don't hold my availability up for anybody. You know, I send you the email, I send you the quote. If you don't pay on it, I'm not, it's no water off my back. I've moved on. You know, nobody locks me in, you know, just as information for anybody who's thinking about being any kind of freelancer of any kind. People need to lock you in with a retainer. There needs to be some kind of retainer fee that you're charging. And I charge a retainer fee. That means I am officially your illustrator, and whatever that retainer fee is comes out of your total cost. That is what locks me in as your illustrator. Until that retainer is paid, I'm free to go work wherever I want to, okay? So she says, I found somebody who can do the whole book for $1,000, something like that. Cool, congratulations. Let me know when it's available. And I said that just so I could see. You found somebody to do that much illustration for only $1,000? Chances are you might, it's a high chance that you're gonna get trash. But I don't know that, so let me know when it's out so I can go see what you got, okay? Don't hear anything else from Sally. Time goes by. Sally hits me back up. My throat is so dry. Time goes by. Sally hits me up again. Hey, Travis, you know, hope you've been doing well. I have another book that I have written, and I want you to come and illustrate it for me. The first person that illustrated my book, I'm not happy with it at all. So I was thinking to myself, why aren't you happy with it? You know, you found somebody to do what you needed to for $1,000. Why are you not happy with it? And then I went and looked up the book, y'all. I looked at the cover only. That's all I saw at that point was the cover of the book. And I said, I know you lying. I know you did not pay any person on this earth $1,000 for that. And I'm gonna show y'all pictures, because I can show y'all pictures without revealing what the book is and what it's about. I said, ma'am, you were gooped. He, she, they gooped you. Gooped you. Now, that's not to say you should have went with me, but y'all, and I never want to down another artist, okay? Because as I've said, art is subjective. However, when we are doing children's books, we should not be drawing square houses with triangle roofs, okay? Like, that is how we draw in elementary school. But her book has square houses with triangle roofs. So then she goes on to say, you know, and I might want you to re-illustrate the first book. I'm thinking to myself, never mind. So early on in this process, I just was getting a vibe like I shouldn't work with Sally. Something about Sally's her aura and her presence through the phone. I shouldn't work with Sally on this second book. But my wife was like, no, give her a chance. It's her fault. I blame her completely. She was like, give her a chance. And I was like, okay, this be my lesson. And you know, long story short, I'll never work with Sally ever again. So me and Sally enter into contract. And the whole time, it was just an unpleasant experience working with Sally. So I'm going to show y'all. Oh, before I do that, we start the process. The way my process works as far as illustrating is I do sketches first, because I've learned to not waste my time. Okay, I would do a simple black and white sketch, very rough outlines, just to see if I'm heading in the right direction, because it makes no sense to me as an artist to spend hours on something to finish it just for you to be like, I don't like none of it. So we do baby steps. I do an outline first. You take a look at the outline in your online gallery on my website that nobody has access to, and you say, I like this, and this. I don't like this, and this. That's perfect. I know what to change, or I know what to keep. That makes sense to me as a way to maneuver in business. She gets my sketches, and these are sketches, no color at all, because I say we do black and white first. I need you to approve, because we were doing the characters first. I said, I need you to approve what the characters look like first before I even bother adding color to them. Because what is the purpose of me drawing a character, coloring the whole thing just for you to be like, I don't like this, and this, and you don't know if you don't like it because of the color or because of the structure of the character. So that's why I do it that way. So I send her the sketch. Her book is about children in a daycare. So that's nothing about anything, because children nor daycare is in the title, so then y'all not gonna be able to find nothing from it. So I had to send her a picture of the kids and the teacher. And I was so offended for the first time. She was like, Travis, this is so basic. Basic. She called my sketches basic. And I was like, I didn't say anything to her. I just kept it in, and I vented within the house. And I was like, this lady just said what I did is basic. Basic? Basic? Now, some of y'all may or may not be familiar with the kind of stuff that I create. So, to show you the kind of stuff that I create, I'm going to show you an example of what I create versus what she got in the first book. Okay? So if I'm basic, y'all let me know in the comments what the first book was. All right, take a look at this. Y'all see that? But mine was called basic. But I have to commend myself for remaining so professional throughout this entire process. So I said, okay, why do you feel like it's basic? And the thing that I don't like when people give feedback on artwork is when you can't tell me, like when you can't expound upon what it is you're talking about. So if you say my stuff is basic, you're gonna have to elaborate and tell me why. What do you mean by basic, and what is your standard of measurement? Like, what are you comparing it to? Because it clearly can't be the first book. So like, what is it that you're looking at that makes mine basic? What about it is basic? How can I not make it basic? You know what I mean? And people do that a lot when it comes to like illustrating. People say, I don't like it, but I can't tell you what I don't like about it. That's not gonna help me. We're trying to move towards your vision. You gotta have your vision clear. So when you go into people, make sure your vision is clear. I said, well, maybe it's because it's in black and white. Do you at least like the way the characters look? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of color and you let me know. Add a color. She's like, oh, Travis, that made the world of a difference. Okay. So the whole process, I pretty much do the same as far as like payments and everything like that. I do half up front, other half at the end. And I learned that lesson the hard way when I was in college. I made something for somebody and they said they were going to give me the money when they got the product. And I gave it to him. He was like, I'm gonna get it to you later on today. It's been like 10 years. I ain't never seen that money. So that was when I learned the lesson the hard way, that you don't ever do anything for anybody without having something up front, or whatever it is that you're creating is your leverage, and they just don't get it. So that was, a lesson learned for me. So anytime that I'm working with anybody, I'm getting something up front, whether it's the down payment. Some people like to pay the whole thing at the beginning, which is fine, which I don't want people to do. I'd rather you wait and pay the first half and then the second half after everything is over. But people choose to do what they want to. So for her, it was no different. She was paying kind of as we go. Some people's financial situations are different, which I completely understand. So I give everybody the option. So one of your options is you can pay for the entire project, half up front, half at the end. Or we can break it down to like pages. You can, if your budget only allows you to pay for one page at a time, that's cool. Pay for half of whatever that one page costs first. I'll do the whole page. Once that page is finished, then you'll pay for the remaining of that half, then half for the next page. That's a really slow process and it takes forever and a day to get a book done. But if that's how your money is running, hey, I'll work with you. That is what I tell everybody. I work with you with how your payments go. Now, I'm not coming down off of my price. The price is going to be the same, but I can absolutely work with you with the timing of how you pay. So for her, it was more like, it wasn't, she wasn't going to pay like for this page or this page. She's like, I'm just going to pay X amount of money. Do what you can for that X amount of money. Okay. So I'm doing that. And then I catch myself one day and I'm like, wait, let me go back, because she hasn't paid anything in a minute. And so at this point, I'm like halfway through the book. So I'm like halfway. But she's only paid for like a quarter. Okay, that's fine. If you've only paid for a quarter and I'm halfway, once I finish halfway, you pay that other quarter to bring current your balance of half the book is done and half your balance has been paid, right? I bring this up to her. I say, hey, I noticed that you haven't made any recent payments and I'm pretty much halfway through with the book. And she was like, but I paid such and such so far. Isn't that enough? Can't you just keep going? No, that's not how that works. And that's not what we spoke about. I said, so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to stop working. Okay. Until you bring your invoice. Because at that moment, my spirit was telling me, Travis, get your money. Get your money up front, Travis. She can't be trusted to pay the way she's supposed to. Get your money up front. So I listened to my spirit and I said, I'm going to stop working on the book until the balance is caught up to what's been done. The half of what's been done. I'm not going to do anything else. And that's what I did. I stopped working on the book. And I said, and then even after you have caught up to that, I still won't be working on the book until you make another payment towards future work. And ironically enough, the next week, she made like 3 payments. First, she gave me the excuse of, well, I'm a such and such worker and it's not in my budget to do X, Y, and Z. Cool. I totally understand that. So, like I said, I'll just stop working until, you're able to make more payments and we can pick everything back up when you're ready. Like, excuse me. Your financial situation has nothing to do with me. This is strictly business. I have no sympathy or anything, because it's no different than if your light bill was overdue. Eventually, the power company is just gonna cut your lights off. You know what I mean? Like, COVID aside, people aren't just out here saying, "Oh, you don't have the money. Okay, no, I'm just gonna keep giving you what you're not paying for." That's just not how it works. And I was very proud of myself for sticking to my guns, because when I have free time and I have a client, I will grind. Like, I will get more stuff done than I probably should, because I have so much free time and I want to get it and get it over with. And I will grind to get your stuff done. But in that moment, I was like, man, I have all this free time. I could be working on this book, but I don't trust that she's going to pay the way she needs to. So I'm just going to have to stop and just let time waste away, just work on something else. And then she up and just started making payment. And I'm thinking to myself, what? So how did you just all of a sudden start making all these payments? Why couldn't you do that the first time when I brought it up to you? Now you just are able to just make payments after payments. What's going on? So that was one thing else that ticked me off about her. But then the thing that really took the cake, that cemented in stone that I was never ever going to work with her again, let alone re-illustrate that first book, or even every time I do a book for somebody, I post about it. Like, I promote it for free. Don't have to. But on one hand, I'm proud of the work that I've done, and I want to show off the work that I've done. And then also people who follow me can see what you have coming out. But no, not her. I will not post that book on any social media. Now, I'm going to buy one copy from Amazon. I'm not going to buy it directly from her. I'm going to buy it from Amazon. She'll get something. She'll get some profit from me buying it, but she won't get as much as she would have had I bought it from her. Call me petty if you want to. But because I need to have it from my portfolio to be able to say, okay, here's another book that I did. We get down to the end of the process. She's making all these payments. I'm moving through the book. The book is completely done. Okay. As I said earlier, when I do work for people, I put all your images in an online gallery on my website so that you can view everything. But what I'm putting in that gallery, you can save it to your computer and all that kind of stuff. However, it is not high quality. It is not high resolution. That way, if anybody ever tried to just take the pictures without paying the remaining of their balance, you can take the pictures and go wherever you want to, but you can't use them because the quality is so low that they can't be printed. Now, you can take them to somebody else and have them redraw and all the other kind of stuff, and then I'll just sue you when the book come out, But do you really want those problems? So you look online to see how everything looks. And I ask often, do you approve of this? Do you approve of that? If you say no, we go back and change it. If we say yes, we move on, and we're not going back because you already approved it. And if you want me to go back, you're going to have to pay more money because you shouldn't have approved it in the first place. So we get to the end. All her pages are done. Words added, because I formatted the book as well. Words added, everything. You can see the whole book in her online gallery. So she said she wanted page numbers. I said, okay, cool. I'll create a PDF because it's easier for me to create the PDF and add the page numbers last, and I'll send that to you. However, and see, what I was sending to her was the full high resolution version because that's just how it worked easier for me. But I watermarked that mother sucker up left and right. My business name was all across every page because I said you are not about to get away without paying your last $300. She had $300 left on her invoice. And I said, I'm going to get every penny of that $300 before you get this final document. Because as I said, the product is my leverage. If I give up the product, there is no reason outside of me trying to sue you or court for you to be obligated to pay me. Okay. So I sent her the watermark version and she says, Travis, what can I do with this watermark? Oh, she sent me a text message. I actually read that to you. Let me see if I can go back and find it real quick. Yeah, she sent me a message and she said something that I was just really like, yes, this is the benediction. We will not ever work again. All right, so I sent her the watermark version. This is what she responded and said. What's the purpose of the watermark? It's sort of distracting. Please send me an unwatermarked copy. Even my husband is having trouble focusing. It is important that I check all the boxes before this goes to print. Now, as I just said, all the boxes for you to check are in that online gallery. There's no difference between what was in your online gallery that is unwatermarked versus what you're seeing in the PDF document that is watermarked outside of the watermark itself. And the page numbers that were added in. The page numbers are at the bottom of the page. All I need you to do was verify that the page numbers were placed correctly. That's all I needed her to do. So I told her once the invoice is paid in full, I'll send unwatermarked version. I said the main thing I wanted you to verify was the page numbers, which aren't affected by the watermark. Did you view the full cover? Oh, that's a completely different question about something else. Then she has the nerve, gall, and audacity to say, you are one strange business person. So now we're name calling. Now I'm a strange business person. I am supposed to proofread my book, final copy, before it goes in for printing, and you have it watermarked all over, even after I have paid everything you charged but $300? What, if anything, can I do with a half-finished formatted copy? Wow. You act like you've been duped by a lot of people and cannot differentiate a valid customer from a fraud. So strange. It's hard to wrap my mind around it. This is what she sent me, y'all. So you can't say even after I paid everything but $300. If you didn't pay $300, you haven't paid everything. And y'all, I responded so professionally. So professionally. I said, first, the gallery on my website is where you proofread the book and make notes pertaining to what needs to be changed. As a business person, why would I deliver a final product before all payments have been made? The product is my leverage. I don't know whether you're a fraud or not, and in an effort to not find out, I receive all payments from all clients before I hand over the final PDF. Then she said, but the gallery is incomplete. I said, how is the gallery incomplete? You literally see every page from the book. Where can I view the book with numbering just the way to be printed? In the PDF document I sent you. That is where. Which is watermarked all over. The watermark isn't preventing you from seeing the numbers. They're in the corner. So I think she was trying to get, where can I see my book, the way it's going to look with the page numbers? Nowhere until you pay your invoice. Like, it's just that simple. So she eventually pays the invoice. Oh, then she also said, I told her, I apologize that my business model is strange. It has worked for me thus far, and all other clients have been completely satisfied with my service. She said, as a client, I deserve to see the final product in one piece without a distracting watermark. I have paid every financial obligation from the beginning, which is not true. Our agreement was to make the final payment by the end of the month, which I am on track for. Your restrictions are uncalled for, but it's your business and your rules. It would be nice to have it included in your contract. I said, as I stated, the final product is my leverage. If I give that over, there's no incentive for you to pay. Yes, our agreement was to be complete by the end of the month, which we are on track to do. Upon fulfillment of payment, you receive all your documents and a link from Dropbox. And then we continue to go. She thought that I could put the PDF in a gallery, which I'm like, that's not possible. You can't put a PDF in a photo gallery, but you know, it was an experience that I'm happy I had. I hated going through it. Happy I had it because I learned a lot. But Sally will never have to worry about me working with her ever again. Ever again. Sally ended up having an issue with her first book because she didn't pay attention to her email, and her first book got snatched off the internet because she didn't do something. And then I had fixed it for prior. She paid me. I had fixed her the cover of her first book because somebody did something wrong. And then the other day she texted me talking about, what did you mess up something in my account on? She used Ingram Spark. I said, ma'am, I ain't been in your account. I don't have access to your account. I had not done anything. Only thing I did was fix the cover, which is what you paid me to do. I don't know what issues you're talking about. Take that up with Ingram Spark. But yeah, I will not ever work with Sally again. But it was such a big lesson on sticking to my guns, knowing that the way that I'm conducting business is right. I'm so nice. Like if you go to my website, if you go to thesivartgallery.com, TheSivartGallery, hope I spelled that right, .com, there's a page specifically for reviews. I'm intentional that every person that I work with, besides Sally, I get a review from. Write me a quick review about how my service was. I don't change any words. I copy it straight from what they type up, post it on my website, along with the cover of their book, and a link for people who go there to go buy the book. So again, that's me promoting something that I don't have to, because it's like, hey, you trusted me to create this vision. The vision is here. Now I want people to see your vision and also have another avenue to maybe go buy it. Because if they don't know you, they know me. And maybe they might see your book on my website and say, oh, I think I might want to see what that book is about. So y'all go to my website, look at the review page, and you'll see all the clients that I've had, except for the client that, except for Sally and the client who we just finished the book yesterday. Yeah, I just finished the book yesterday for somebody else. And I get reviews on purpose for that reason. So that, you know, and I know my business experiences are not going to always be perfect, but I'm happy that everybody else has been happy with my services. You know what I mean? But I hope that y'all saw the many lessons in this video about, you know, the proper way to conduct business and how to value yourself and your time, because all of that is important. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this video, what y'all thought about this story time. If you thought I was wrong in any of the ways that I went about anything, or if you have questions about the way that I went about anything, you can leave that all down in the comments. So thank y'all so much for watching this video, and I will be talking to y'all very soon. Peace.